there. I'm Jessica Zetterholm with Pariveda Solutions. I'm excited to share with you our new accountability workshop, as we truly believe this will help level up the ability of leaders and their teams to get the most out of their efforts in today's uncertain and complex environment. Here's the punchline. The goal for a high-performing organization is to reach its potential, but that doesn't happen without each individual in the organization reaching theirs. And to do any of this, first things first, people have to be clear on why their organization exists, why their role exists, what's being asked of them, and who to engage with and how in order to turn intentions into reality. But if you found yourself or your team muttering, "This is harder than it should be," chances are you're experiencing the results of unclarity in the organization. And we designed this workshop for you so that you can take the first step to building clarity through a culture of accountability. Why accountability? I'm going to start with this big picture. Most organizations out there often fall somewhere between the extremes of this pendulum. Some will focus too heavily on creative initiative and start tending towards chaos, and others will focus too heavily on controls and start tending towards stagnation. But what high-performing organizations actually get right is they find the balance between both creativity and control so that they can foster new ideas and ways of doing things in a way that still ensures results. And accountability is key to finding that balance, because without it, here's what you'll run into instead. Think of conflicting priorities between business functions or between projects and day jobs, or where people aren't clear whether they actually have true authority to make a decision or to take a certain action, or perhaps they took authority when they shouldn't have. Or those project managers you see juggling multiple part-time resources who aren't actually giving the time that had been originally planned and hoped for. For organizations that are trying to foster autonomy, speed, and adaptation through these highly agile and cross-collaborative teams like you see on the right here, the reality is that those same people on those cross-collaborative teams still have to navigate the managerial hierarchy that they're a part of in parallel, which is where their performance appraisals come from and their project assignments come from and assignments of priorities. But when they lose clarity and don't have a good work system to anchor to or a common language to anchor to, this is where they're set up to have problems. And you see people spending more time chasing and working the system instead of getting the work done. Our workshop pulls in the foundational principles developed by the research and work of Dr. Elliot Jacks, Dr. Harry Levinson, and Dr. Jerry Cranis, pioneers of organizational science who discovered what make people and organizations tick, and an engineering-based approach to unlocking potential. And we've layered in our knowledge at Pariveda of modern organizations to create this workshop, which will provide participants with a combination of content and real-life working sessions in one day, where they'll come out of it with a common language, practical tools, and frameworks that they can begin to apply, and most importantly, a call to action that will help them build a culture of accountability. Because in a culture of accountability, people are clear. They know who's on point. They know what the expectations are, where they fit, what they need to know so they can effectively add value and work together to succeed. And when people have this level of clarity, that is where you have a high-performing organization that's also fostering a culture of clarity and trust and adding value. So now I'll give you a glimpse into what we're going to cover in our workshop. Our 4 workshop modules cover both the principles, mechanics, and tools of defining accountabilities, as well as the practices necessary to enable decision-making at the right levels and the psychology behind engaging people's commitment, which is particularly important when you're trying to change the way things are done today. First, we reframe what accountability should be. It's not about blame and pointing fingers when things go wrong, but it is different from responsibility, and when you implement it well, it fosters a sense of trust and fairness to ensure results. Second, we expand on that to show how you can define accountabilities cross-functionally. How do you define working relationships in a way that's even clearer than a RACI chart so people understand their working relationships and the handoffs within the larger process that they're impacting? Third, we share what good context setting really should look like. It's more than feeding information and instructions from the top down. So we provide frameworks and tools that participants can immediately apply to help build consistent behaviors that will align people's judgment so that they can spend less time chasing and more time figuring out creative and effective ways to reach objectives. And last, but certainly not least, is understanding what is at the core of engaging the commitment of people. And this starts with understanding the unspoken universal needs we all have of our workplace and what leaders and individual contributors can do to foster the environment for commitment and change. So how do you know if this workshop is for you? Look for the signs of unclarity. If you're experiencing the pain that results from symptoms such as slow decision-making, office politics and influencers, or confusion over who owns what, but you also know that you can make an impact and change for the better, reach out to us. You can email us at strategy@parivedasolutions.com, and let's explore together how we can help, whether it's with this accountability workshop or in another way that works best for your organization. Thank you.